Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tego Cyber's channel. We're sitting here once again with CEO, Director, and CFO Shannon, who previously dove into her past and how Tego got started, her origins, and all that. But today we wanted to dive deeper into the company itself. So, Shannon, how are you doing? Are you ready to dive in?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thanks.
Good, good. It's glad to have you back. So let's try and break it down simply for people what it is that Tego Cyber does. So let's start off with what is threat intelligence? What are these threats you are thwarting and how?
Right. So basically, boiled down, threat intelligence is all the data that a security operations analyst would need to make an informed decision when an incident occurs. And there's a difference and some confusion between threat data and threat
Mhm.
intelligence. And threat data really is one single little piece of information that says something like this IP address equals bad.
Mhm.
But that doesn't really give information for an analyst to decide, okay, it's bad, but like, why is it bad? And should I be really concerned? Do I need to spin up my incident response team and my incident response plan? So we enhance that information and turn it from data into intelligence with Tego. And really what we do is we add additional context. So, we take this IP address equals bad, and then we say, well, this IP address is bad because it's associated with this threat actor group who is known to do these kind of activities. They're located in such and such country. They've been active for like the past 3 months, and just a ton of information that's relevant and timely to what this security operations analyst may be dealing with at the moment.
Okay, and can you break it down just a little bit further for people? So, like, what are the people there seeking? Would it be like people trying to data mine, get people's data to potentially get their credit card information or logins? Just give some examples of the industries people are targeting that you guys would be working for.
Yeah, so we are industry agnostic. So there's not one specific industry that needs threat intelligence. All enterprises need threat intelligence because all enterprises and all businesses are being attacked. But the types of attacks that they are seeing are, like you mentioned, phishing attacks, where somebody's sending emails, pretending to be the CEO, and trying to get information. Or another thing that they do is they pretend to be vendors and they try to intercept payments to vendors by sending false information and redirecting to different bank accounts. But one of the things too that organizations need to look out for is brute force attacks on servers. So that's one thing that we see a lot of. Some credentials might be compromised, and then the cyber criminals take those and they cycle those through and see, can I get into the enterprise using these credentials that maybe
Hmm.
maybe you used your business account to sign up for something on some website and that got compromised. Then they'll try to get into the enterprise using those credentials. So you'll see they'll attack servers, remote desktop connections and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that we provide threat intelligence on.
Okay, so I guess a somewhat recent example, just kind of shooting here, the Microsoft server hack that was roughly a month ago. Would that be something that would kind of fall into your guys' jurisdiction of things to work with?
Exactly. So we serve up that kind of information of, hey, client, you have this infrastructure within your environment that may be susceptible to attacks. If we know the IP addresses of where those attackers are coming from, and we detect those within the customer's environment, we surface those up as well.
Okay, okay. So, can you give examples of industries you're planning on targeting? Like, I know you say you're agnostic, but like, who would be the person that would be coming to you?
I think right now, some of the heavily attacked industries, such as healthcare, travel and hospitality, to name a couple, of course, financial institutions, those ones, because of the data that they have and just how much revenue and transactions they deal with on a daily basis, would be what I would consider ideal
Okay.
industries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those have a lot on the table that people would want to swipe. I guess one of the ones I'm familiar with that people attack very often is anything related to cryptocurrency. Say those
Yes,
exchanges and stuff get
absolutely.
targeted because it's essentially free floating money if they can get their hands on the right information from people.
Right. And I did see a statistic, I think the other day, that already so far this year, um, cyber criminals have been able to siphon off about $100 million from different cryptocurrency platforms just
Wow.
through phishing emails to their users or some sort of compromise of the actual platform.
Okay. So I guess let's shift gears just a little bit. Let's talk about competitors in the space. Do you guys have any like specific competitors? What really sets you apart from them?
Yes, so there are a couple competitors in the space. One of the nice things about threat intelligence is it is an emerging market segment within cybersecurity. So there's not a lot of competition, but there are some. But it's also, as an industry, threat intelligence is growing at twice the rate of the overall cybersecurity market. So it's a great place to be in, at the ground floor, not a lot of competition. Um, Competing platforms would be, I would say, a recorded feature or a threat quotient. I believe
Mhm.
both of those companies are private, but they have threat intelligence platforms where they give threat intelligence either served up within existing cybersecurity tools, kind of like what Tego does, or they have their own platform where they'll say, hey, something's bad in your environment, come out to my platform, log in, and
Hmm.
we'll give you some information.
All right, interesting. And so how does Tego find your customers? Like, what's the plan for that?
So our first integration of our threat intelligence platform is with a software platform called Splunk.
Mhm.
And Splunk is a SIM software platform, which basically, if I can boil SIM down into really, really simple terms, it's a log aggregation and data warehousing solution. So what it's doing within an enterprise is it's taking all the information from all the computers, all the servers, switches, firewalls, whatever generates a log within the enterprise, it pulls it into this data warehouse. And then security operations teams uses this data warehouse to try to find incidents and threats within the environment.
Okay.
One of the cool things about Splunk, not that it's just one of the market leaders as far as Gartner or Forrester goes for SIM platforms, but one of the cool things about Splunk is they have an app marketplace for their platform where they encourage developers to develop applications that enhance their product. Kind of like you have the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store for your phone, Splunk has something called Splunk Base where they host applications made for their platform. And so if somebody that is using Splunk is interested in threat intelligence or has heard about Tego, they can simply just search for us in Splunk base and find our application. It's a really simple process, just like you install an app for your phone. Basically, you say, install now, you get a license key from Tego, you plug that in, and then you're off to the races.
Okay, I guess the last thing I'd really want to dive into here is what is your guys' cost model? Is it subscription based? Just kind of dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, so we are a subscription kind of software as a service model
Mm.
for our platform. It's an annual subscription rate of 75,000 per year, which kind of puts us right in the sweet spot, right in the middle of
Mhm.
some of the competing solutions that are out there right now. And our customers are already investing heavily into Splunk. So just adding on, getting additional return on investment on their Splunk licensing is just a nice thing that they can do. And integrating, of course, our platform into Splunk. We're not asking the customers ever to leave their Splunk instance when they're working an incident. We're serving all the information within Splunk, giving the security operations analysts all the information they need. It's the idea of a single pane of glass, which is
Mhm.
kind of an overused term, I think, in the industry, because people say single pane of glass, but you have to use my glass.
Mhm.
Rather, what Tego is doing is we're saying you should have a single pane of glass. Our tools should work together. So we're actually serving up all of our information and all of our threat intelligence within our existing cybersecurity tools. You don't have to use our glass.
Wow. Okay. Cool. That's really interesting. You guys are in a spot where you're helping drive this new emerging industry forward. So that's awesome.
Mhm.
Is there any last words about the company you'd like to add before we go?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. I feel like we covered it pretty well. So thank you for coming
Yeah.
on. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching. If you have any questions, send them over to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions. I know a lot of that's a mouthful. There's a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to anything software. So send over anything you got. We'll be happy to answer it for you. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on. Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael. You too.